I've shared with you before that human beings have what is known as a negativity bias. And it is that negativity bias, in many ways, it's kept the human race alive for so many millennia. The negativity bias basically means it is common for us to look for the worst. It is common for us to expect the worst. It is common for us not to trust people. That is a negativity bias. In other words, we are looking towards something that is missing in the relationship, something that is possibly going to harm us. It is a way of protecting us. Your negativity bias is designed to protect you. Now, let me press pause here for a second and discuss with you the difference between positive and negative. One time I was getting ready to do a speech after a dinner at a conference. Now, what they had done was they broke for dinner. It wasn't an included dinner. So several members of the conference happened to be sitting at the table next to me. And one of them said, "Oh, who is this guy who's going to be speaking when we go back?" And somebody said, "Will Bowen." And one of them said, "Who is he?" And somebody else said, "Oh, he's one of those positive thinking guys." Like it was just a negative, horrible thing. And the funny thing was, I've had several people sort of, allude to that. And honestly, I have struggled with what is called positive thinking. Myself, I really have struggled with maintaining that, believe it or not, for a very long time. And so when this person said this about, who is this guy, Will Bowen? Oh, he's one of those positive thinking guys. I'm sorry, I just saw Lisa Bartel's comment. Oh, thank you so much. She says, "I felt so empowered after yesterday's meditation, and this morning woke up, listened to Neil Diamond, and danced." Well, good. If the meditations are leading to you getting up and dancing in the morning, that's awesome. So, and that ties in really well with the positivity and the negativity bias. We have a negativity bias. It is something inside of us that is designed to keep us safe, keep us alive, and keep us well. The challenge is that when we exercise that negativity bias, when we use it to protect ourselves or we use it in situations, it is self-reinforcing. We think that the negativity bias is the thing that is making things work out, etc. We actually start to give the emotional negativity that we have the credit for the positive things that go on in our life. So it sort of gets looped around. So that night when the person spoke disparagingly about being positive, I actually looked up the word positive, and the word positive means present. The word negative means absent. Now, those are the denotations of the words. Those are the actual meanings of the words. Now, the connotation is that positive means you're always expecting everything to work out all the time, just perfectly, no problems. That's not positive thinking. That's stupid thinking. There's a big difference. We all know that things are going to go wrong on a regular basis. My daughter and I were talking yesterday, and she was explaining something she had worked on and how it just kept not working. And I was reminding her there's a reason that people think that Murphy's Law is so relatable. According to Earl Nightingale, there was a man named Edsel Murphy, and he came up with not only the law that if something can go wrong, it will go wrong at the worst possible moment, but he also came up with a number of other laws, one of them being that if you go to fix something, you'll find screws left over after, and you just have no idea what they're for. So he was not a negative person. He was commenting on the human experience, and that is that things are going to go wrong. I mean, the Buddha said that life is suffering, So we are going to experience things going wrong. We are going to experience challenges, and being positive does not mean walking around all the time like what I call a bliss ninny. Being positive, the word positive means what is present. Therefore, when something goes wrong in our lives, rather than focusing on what's missing, which is what most of us do, that's negative thinking. focusing on what is missing, what is wrong. And I'm here to tell you that there is always going to be something that is missing and always going to be something that is wrong. And because of our negativity bias, we notice it more. We notice the negative things that happen way more than the positive things. The positive things are simply supposed to happen, and that means the present things, not the good things. We confuse positive with good and negative with bad. Instead, get that positive is present, positive is present, and negative is missing. Negative is what is missing. I said I would tell you a story. I was thinking this morning when I was in ministerial school, our prayer instructor, the head of the prayer department, Terry Lund, one day warned us, because think about it. I mean, we would go to class and we would pray with each other, and then we would split up and pray with someone else, and we would pray for ourselves, and we would pray for the class, all to get ourselves comfortable with articulating, these verbal incantations to God, which one might consider them to be. And as we were, she told us never pray for inner peace, because the only way to have inner peace is to experience outer turmoil and force yourself to remain peaceful. So she says just the act of praying for inner peace was often asking for outer turmoil. So we want to be careful for what we're asking for. And being positive is looking around and taking what we do have and doing with it what we can. I was trying to affirm just a perfect, positive, wonderful setup for these JumpStarts. And I have to say, looking at the camera, things look pretty good. Although I notice when I lift my arm, there's part of my shirt that disappears. So there's still some dialing in to do. But it looked great yesterday. And then yesterday afternoon, I was tweaking the image just a little bit, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I did the factory defaults, and it still looked really, really, really bad last night. And so I worked on this from 2 o'clock until probably 6:30, something like that. And then I was utterly frustrated. I had tried everything, and I couldn't get it to go back to as good as it once was. So this morning I got up, and of course this was on my mind, because coming in here, what I looked like on camera yesterday when I left it was a really bad cartoon drawing against an orange background. That's exactly what I looked like. And so I got up this morning, and I noticed that I was kind of dragging my feet as I was taking Teddy for a walk, because that was on my mind. And I knew I was going to have to address this, because we were going to go live at 8 o'clock, and then we were going to do the meditation at 8:30. So I didn't have a whole lot of room to figure this out after having spent over 5 hours working on it yesterday, and it only got worse. So this morning, I got up at 5, took Teddy out, came straight in here and worked on it. Around 6:45, 6:30, I had it dialed in. It looked as good as it does right now. Went and poured myself a cup of coffee, straightened up around my home a little bit. My computer the monitor had gone to sleep, which it does. I just jiggled the mouse, and all of the settings had reset back to the looking horrible, terrible cartoon figure, and all of that had happened, and I, right now, still don't know why. So what I did was I dialed it back in this morning. So now I want to be positive about this. To be negative, here's what I could say. I'm never going to figure this out. This sucks. Why does bad things always happen to me? Which they don't, but because of my negativity bias, my ego wants to believe that. I'll never make it look good. I can't do it as good as other people. I don't have the technology or the smarts. This is missing. I can't do that. I don't know how to do this. Blobbity, blobbity, blobbity. That's my ego, and that's a negativity bias. A positivity bias is, what do I have? I have my producer, Miroslav, who knows how to use the very software that I'm using and has helped me already in many, many cases. I have the internet, where how do I are the most common words typed into the internet. Did you know that? How do I? And I've already figured out how to do a half dozen things. So my positivity bias is that I have the support of millions of people in resolving this issue. Plus, I have a lot of very forgiving fans who are with me every day and who have seen me change from looking really strange to looking good to being super jumpy to having out of sync audio. And today I'm in front of a rainbow. And I look good today. I mean, the camera's all dialed in and everything. So, stuff happens. Stuff happens. It's designed to happen. You know, I often think of a video game, and if your job in the video game is to be a little animated figure running along, just picking up coins and food and stuff like that, and there's unlimited coins and food and stuff like that, and there's no little fire-breathing dragon or pits or anything like that are trying to get you to die or to give up or whatever, you wouldn't play that game. It's boring. And life's the same way. Every day there's going to be something that's missing. And if we focus on that, we're inviting our negativity bias. If we focus on what is present, what is working, what is going well. I always like to say that the ego asks 3 questions. What's wrong? Who can I blame? And what can I get? What's wrong? Who can I blame? And what can I get? Our highest self always says the opposite of all 3 of those questions. Number 1, what's going right? Number 2, who can I thank? And number 3, what can I give? In this situation, what can I give? Is it encouragement? Is it silence? What can I give? Let me catch up with some of your comments now. Lisa, again, thank you so much for your comment about feeling empowered at the meditation. Bill Hammond has joined, another friend from high school. Cynthia Barchers, I do not recall a negativity bias growing up. Was it there and I missed it? Or did I successfully provide a shield around it because of my drive? I really didn't notice this so heavy until the last 10 or so years. I think it is environmental. I also think that it's nature and nurture that creates our negativity bias. And I do think that it gets worse as we get older. I think that's that idea of the crone and the curmudgeon. As we get older, we tend to adopt more of a negativity bias. And again, it's there to protect us. And I think maybe we feel a tad more fragile. So it is there. I will tell you that maybe you had better parenting than some of us, Cynthia. And as a result, you didn't quite have the negative self-talk, possibly. Good morning, Will, says Cindy Benson. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning to Tammy Boatwright from Bill Hammond. Linda Farrell says, good morning, friends. Therese Napier says, hi, good morning, Will. Good morning. Don't pray for a lighter load. Pray for a stronger back. There you go, says Therese. Publius Sirius? And I know Daniel is sitting there laughing because Daniel Byrne knows who I'm talking about because it's in my book. The Roman scholar said, anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. I love that. Anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. Good morning, friends, says Debbie. Good morning. I'm curious, are you still a pastor minister? Don't know much about your story. You are seeing my ministry live. Instead of speaking once a week for 20 minutes, I now do it 5 days a week for 20 minutes. Message has not changed a single bit. Not a proselytizing minister. Not there to try and save anyone's soul. I love George Carlin's comment. He said that When I was a kid, everybody said, save your soul, save your soul, save your soul. And then later someone told me to give my soul to Jesus. And he said, not me, I'm saving my soul. Anyway, I think that's funny. You don't have to. Cynthia says, I was so determined to move forward after my father passed my senior year in high school, and I was miserable for a good year or so. And then I heard Zig Ziglar, surrounded myself. Well, no wonder you don't have a negativity bias. You've been drinking from the fount of positivity. Zig Ziglar himself. Life was positive and good, Cynthia says. Began looking for the good in all. Now, once again, I find myself many, many years later searching for that positive lifestyle once again. Guess what? I found that here. Thank you so much. It's exactly what we're wanting to create. I am wanting to pick up the mantle from Zig Ziglar and Earl Nightingale and Wayne Dyer and all of the greats who went before us. My goal is to provide you with the inspiration, motivation, and clarity of thought that they gave me and millions of people. So thank you. Michael says, good morning. We aren't... all I keep thinking is we're not in Kansas anymore. Very true, dude. Morning and loving it, says Gail. I think I skipped somebody. Did I skip somebody? Let's see. Debbie says, good morning, friends. Tammy says, good morning, back to Bill. Cynthia Barcher says, thank you for giving. My honor. Lynn Balone says, we learn what we live. Yes, I think part of the problem is social media. Too much out there. I agree with that. One of the things that I did with social media was, if it was the word, someone told me this and I've never been able to verify it, but a guy I was in ministerial school with told me that the word blessing means more life. And so what I've tried to do is, if it doesn't bless me, give me more life, and that is more energy, more happiness, more passion, I try to extricate it from my social media. Lisa says she agrees. Laugh, love. Thank you for the explanation. Appreciate it. I was a typical middle kid and had lofty goals of survival to the best of my abilities. Me too. Total Jan Brady of the bunch. That was me. Hey, everybody, listen. I want to invite you to develop a positivity bias today. That means begin to look for what is present rather than what is missing. Focus on what you're grateful for rather than grumbling about what you're unhappy about. There's always going to be stuff missing. There is always going to be stuff to be unhappy about, and there's always going to be more of the good stuff than the bad stuff. So let's focus on that. So for those of you who are a member of our complaint-free meditation group, I look forward to seeing you live in there. If you're not a member of the group, I invite you to check out complaintfreemeditation.com. You have to register. You can't just ask to be in the group. We get people all the time who want to do that. But you have to register. complaintfreemeditation.com. All right, I will see everybody for the meditation in just a few minutes, and I'm going to see all of you tomorrow morning. And remember to share. If today's message of having a positivity bias was helpful for you, click your share button, would you please? Help us expand our audience and expand our group. We love having you all here. So many of you every day. Let's see. Last parting shots. I have to agree with that, says Cynthia. And Will Luden says, good morning, Teddy the doggy. Yep. Enjoy the day, great friends. And I'll see almost half of you probably in the complaint-free meditation group. That's what it's becoming. Enjoy today, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No